Hello everyone, welcome back to ASHEN Dawn, a D&D 5.5e campaign homebrewed by myself, the Dungeon Master, Kajol. I am joined, as always, by my four heroes who are going to introduce themselves one by one, tell me who you are and who you're playing, and we, as always, start with Drimian. Go ahead.
It's Drimian here. I'm going to be playing Asher today, and I've recently increased in level to level 2. So, there's something.
Oh yeah, that's something that I did not tell anyone, but yeah, everyone is now level 2, arriving in Greythorn. We've decided it's a story milestone. They're all level 2. Next up, Hanny.
Hi, I am Hannibal. I play the half-elf drow, Lucian, that has some voices in his head now. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, and what class are you?
Oh, yes, I'm a bard. Sorry.
I like how you always say, I'm a half-elf drow, like half-elf is your race
Everybody's
and
like,
drow
yeah,
is
we
your
know.
class.
I'm a drow. That's me.
I'm a full-time drow.
I'm a full-time drow.
Suji?
Hi, I'm Suji. I'm playing Zerafina, who's a high elf life domain cleric.
Thank you very much. And Theo.
Praise Jeebus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Theo. I'll be playing Skibjorn, a Goliath barbarian.
Hell yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so to summarize the last session, our heroes left the Crossroads Rest under a pale sky, parting ways from the Queen's Road on a narrow cart trail heading north into the Highland Moors towards the Veiled Mountains, a mountain range that borders the north of the country of Valant. The road thinned as they headed north. Trees were bowed with a strange stillness, and a hush fell over the land. At first, they began to see signs of ash coating the ground, coating the grasses and the trees around them. Little streaks at first, a very thin, fine layer, and then heavier, hanging in the air, almost like snow, dulling every color and sound around them. They headed down the road for a few hours as the ash grew thicker, and eventually they came across an overturned wagon by the side of the road. No sign of a struggle, just a single trail of boot prints heading into a copse of trees a little bit further east, and ending in a perfect ring of ash. Lucian had some kind of episode after disturbing this ring of ash, and then shortly thereafter he had a vision of a figure in white standing in the woods. They headed back to the road, headed north again. A few hours later came the wolves. Red eyes, patchy fur, movements jerky and wrong. They lunged from the brush with an unnatural hunger and attacked the party, but they stood their ground, not without injury. Some of them were hurt. I think Lucian went down and almost died, but they endured and continued again up the road. As it grew dark, the party decided to rest beneath a rocky overhang for a few hours, not the full night, and then continue on in the middle of the night. Their rest was disturbed by weird dreams and visions and things happening and sounds going on around them, but they were ultimately undisturbed. They weren't attacked as they were hiding underneath this rocky overhang. Then, in the very early hours of the morning, about 3 or 4 a.m., they continued up the road once again, and finally, cresting a final rise, they saw the valley unfold before them, and squatting there in the bottom, they saw the village of Greythorn, and behind it, Mount Veilgrim, this dark stone peak, covered in a thin sheen of drifting grey, looming over the village. As they headed down into the village, they saw a few faces peering at them from behind curtains and behind doors, and this whole town was covered in a few inches of this drifting ash. This is loud. And that's where we join again today. So Yeah, you are heading down into the village. Where are you going? What are you doing? And that's where we'll start.
Well, Serafina is going to be looking around to see if she can see the inn that Arid mentioned to her.
Okay. Is everyone else just looking for the inn as well? Or is there anything else you would want to be
Yes.
keeping an eye for as you're heading in?
Are there any shrines?
You don't see any shrines in particular here in the village. I'm assuming you're talking about shrines to Oramatha, your goddess, right? Yeah. You don't see any here in the village. No. It looks like this, they probably would be religious people because they are, just your average kind of villagers, I guess. But you don't see any sign of like a place of worship. It's quite a small village, so there's
No
not
place of worship either. Okay.
Yeah, there's not really like anything in particular here. Anyway,
Ski looks around and after a minute he just goes kind of sad and disappointed at the same time, and lets out a little low groan.
What's the matter, big fella?
Or there's opens to vines, places, worship or shrines, but none can be seen from yours.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll eventually find them.
I hope so.
First things first, where is that tavern?
you follow the road into the center of Greythorn, where the ash lies deepest and silence presses around you. You see an old well in the center of town, and a low, sagging building of dark timber with a grey stone foundation. And that's right here on the map, this building. Above the door, you see a tarnished sign creaking in the still air, and the image emblazoned on it is a kettle engraved there. Looking at it, you see that its surface might once have been painted with bright silver paint, but now is dulled with age, and again, there's this slight layer of ash coating this, which just further dulls the colouring. But you can read and you can make out faded lettering curving around the rim of this kettle, and it says, "The Silver Kettle." You see ash clinging thickly to the rooftop thatch, and long drifts of ash have piled up beneath the window ledges. There are herb beds just beneath the shutters, but the plants that were in them are brown and buried under this ash. You can see a single lantern hanging above the lintel. It's unlit. But through the windows, which are darkened with grime, you can see light flickering faintly from within. Seems like the hearth is still burning.
Well, I suppose, do you guys think we need to knock, or can we just go in?
Asher's going to take the initiative, stride forward to the front door, and just pound it with his fist.
Or guess that answers our questions there.
I mean, that is a solid knock.
Okay. You move forward and knock on the door, and as you do so, the door opens with a dry creak, and you feel warmth roll out over you into this ashen air. You smell the sense of heat, smoke, old wood, and something faintly metallic from within. Looking inside, you see that the light inside the inn is dim but steady. A hearth is burning low beneath a mantle in the back half of the room, casting a flickering orange light, probably one of the some of the few light that you've actually seen since heading into this ashen landscape. Excuse me. You can see tables crowding the room, kind of haphazardly. Many of them are already taken by about a dozen or so villagers that sit there hunched over cups and bowls. Some of them murmuring quietly to each other, others just listening to the fire. The immediate sense you get as you enter is a sense of kind of uneasy refuge. that they're all in here in the early hours of the morning to take solace in each other's comfort, essentially. And they're just sort of lingering together here for safety. But as you enter, silence falls over the tavern and heads turn. The voices fall silent. A few of their eyes widen as they look at you, and you hear the clatter of metal as somebody drops a spoon on the floor. You stand in the doorway, Asher, first, with your companions behind you. Pale, streaked in grey, cloaked in ash, your skin and clothes marked by the road. To these villagers, you can tell immediately, you look, they're terrified of you when they see you. You see a man near the fire in the back half of the room stiffen and back into his chair with a kind of a stammered breath, and an older woman whispers something under her breath and turns away. But others in the tavern just watch you warily, as if unsure what to do. The other thing you can see at first glance is that behind the bar, there's an innkeeper, a broad-shouldered man, human man, with a close-cropped beard and an apron, straightens upright, and he looks at you, narrows his eyes. He doesn't seem afraid, but he doesn't move either, not yet. He's waiting to see what you do. Asher?
I think just the general sort of atmosphere, with the sort of general atmosphere of the room, Asher's going to want to relieve the tension a little bit. So he'll take his spear and he'll rest it by the door frame, making a point to do so. And then he'll whisper to his companions behind him. You'd think they'd never seen scales before.
Lucian's gonna peek underneath Ash's arm, and he's gonna say, "Well, this crowd is almost as grey as it is outside."
Or does you think is the scales, or judging by the things we've seen under controls of the ash, I wonders if there's afraid of the ash.
I think they might be scared of us, big man. We're covered in this stuff.
Is Asher wearing a cloak?
Yeah, it's slightly open on one side.
Ski walks up to Asher and kind of just takes his shoulders and tries to unclasp the cloak. Does Asher let him?
These are monastic robes. If you unclasp them, they may just drop.
I didn't expect this to get so
I
sexy
see.
so quickly.
I see.
Yeah.
Let me set with these.
Okay, well then, does Ski notice this? Does Ski know this? Or do you?
Do you notice this?
I mean, because I might just my initial intention was to just take the cloak off.
Yeah, you would notice there's no cloak.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, basically, I think that the confusion is that Theo thinks that you're wearing like a cloak over the top of your robes, but you're talking about your robes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
He's just in his monastic
He's
robes.
just in his robes. Okay, never mind. Never mind then.
Yeah, I do like the image of Skibiorn just stripping Asher to his waist.
Just see these giant hands coming from behind, and just let me get that for you.
Getting the most out of my unarmored defense, thank you.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was gonna do something. No, never mind.
As you're standing deliberating in the doorway, the innkeeper looks at you and he calls out to you and he says, "Who do you be?"
Seraphina's gonna shake off her clothes, attempt to shake the ash off, and she's gonna walk over to the innkeeper. She's gonna say, "I'm Seraphina, and these are my companions. Arid sent us here."
He looks you up and down, Seraphina, with, like, again, he has like kind of narrowed eyes. He looks suspicious of you, although he does seem somewhat like a little bit more at ease at your demeanor compared to the big Goliath in the background, the like scaly dragonborn man, and then this kind of suspicious looking half drow. And he looks you up and down. He says, "Is that so? From where do you hail? Why are you here? We got troubles of our own."
Yeah, we came to help with the troubles. Arid came in, barely made it to the tavern we were in, and I was able to help him, but he told us that things here are really not great with all the ash. Are you Marion? He said to speak with Marion.
His eyes widen slightly at the mention of Arid, and he does nod slightly, and he says to you, "Arid, I thought you were lost. Headed south a few days ago now. We thought that message wouldn't get to anyone." "Aye, I'm Marion."
Yeah, he barely made it. He was attacked by some feral wolves. We were also attacked by feral wolves on our way here. We managed to get through.
"Wolves have been deadly of late. I barely advise anyone to leave the safety of the village at all, and I would recommend not even leaving the tavern if they can help it. People go missing."
Yeah, we had to kill the wolves that attacked us, and we noticed they were filled with this ash, the ash that's covering everything.
"They say the ash gets inside you and changes you. There's people in the village who've gone sick as well."
Where are the sick of the village? Are they just at home, or are they...
We keep them upstairs in the inn. The local herbalist is looking after them.
Maybe I could help heal them as well.
He kind of shrugs, looking a little disbelieving of you. He says, "You're welcome to try, but there's something wrong about this sickness. I don't think it'll be easy. Anyway, tell me, what are your names, travelers?"
I'm Seraphina. And then she's going to look over to the others.
I be Skibjorn.
Asher.
Lucian, hi.
You see around you that the people, the villagers in the tavern, do still look quite suspicious of you. They are, they go back to murmuring to each other. Some of them lean their heads close to each other, and they seem to be whispering about you. If anyone wants to hear anything that they're saying, roll perception.
Ooh, yeah.
While people are rolling, Asher's going to take the sack of dried meat, which he collected from the cart, and he's going to set it down on the bar in front of the innkeep.
Okay.
Got a 9.
Oof. 13.
Okay. You didn't get a 9, did you, Theo? Didn't you get a 9?
I got a 9.
Yeah, you got an 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I misread the chat. My bad.
Okay.
Zerafina got the 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Asher, you
Yeah.
put down this dried meat on the bar. Do you say anything?
I'll say, I heard you were stuck for supplies up here.
That we are. He takes the bag gratefully and looks inside, and then he shoves it away from himself, and he says, "No, we'll not be eating that. Thank you for your kindness, but we'll do without."
Is it tainted?
I wouldn't eat anything with ash on it.
If it's dried meat, I could remove the outer layers.
I don't trust it.
Suit yourselves.
Looking around and hearing what people are saying in the tavern, Skibjorn, you hear a few fragments, and you also notice something as well. You do notice that a lot of the people in the tavern seem to be quite thin, gaunt, as if they haven't eaten in a while. They do seem to be kind of malnourished. And you hear a few fragments of people saying, you hear someone say, "Look at their skin, like they walked straight from the ash." Then another, "Don't speak so loud, they'll hear you." And someone else says, "Reckon they're ash touched, like Joram was." Someone else, "They come through the veil, had to." And that's all you hear.
Interesting. I think Lucian is gonna ignore the gossip. He's gonna find a chair. He's gonna take out his lute, and he's gonna try and play a nice calming melody on his lute for the tavern.
Okay. So you just like take the initiative to just go and into the middle of the floor and play something.
Now, the question is, DM, I would like to use a bardic inspiration to see if I can uplift the mood a little bit in the tavern, if that is at all possible.
Do you have any kind of feature that allows you to do that with bardic inspiration?
No, I can choose to inspire one creature for an hour, but yeah, I want to see if I can uplift the mood a little bit. You know, kind of like
you can use
assign to the people that we are here to help.
Okay, you can use bardic inspiration to inspire one creature, but I'm not going to let you use bardic inspiration
for the entire. Okay.
Yeah, and I believe,
what about
and the reason why I'm not going to let you do that, just as a flavor thing, is because there are bard subclasses that can do that using bardic inspiration.
Yes, I see. Yeah, that's fair. How about just the performance then, to just uplift the mood?
Yeah, so you can obviously try through mundane means, meaning just a performance check. Are you singing a song, or are you just playing a little tune?
Just a little, a calming tune, just to let the people kind of know, that we are here to help. We're not here to hinder any progress or to do them any harm.
Okay, make a performance check then.
Yes. That is a 15.
Okay. All right. So describe how you play this calming song.
So Lucian will grab a chair and he will just sit down, and it will go from tuning his lute into just playing very soft notes on his lute. Just continuous soft notes just flowing through the tavern. Kind of. And then weaving a tiny bit of magic in there. Just to calm the folks in the tavern a little bit.
Okay. All right, so Lucian plays his lute, and you play quite skillfully. It's not your best work, I would say. It's not nat 20 levels of Maestro Genioso or whatever. 20. But it is good. You play well.
Hi there, Fuzzball.
And you hear from around the tavern a few clinks of people placing down their mugs and looking towards you as you play, and the general attitude of the tavern kind of relaxes somewhat. People watch you playing your lute. You see Skibion, as you're looking around with your perception check, you see looking around that a woman who had been previously gripping tight onto her coat, almost holding it like a shield, she loosens her grasp from around it. You hear one of the older men in the tavern give a low, approving grunt. He just goes, "Could be worse, I suppose." And you also see a younger farmhand lifting his chin to listen to the song. And there's also a small child, hiding behind his mother's skirts. He peeks out and watches Lucian with wide eyes, and he doesn't look afraid at all. He just looks curious about the drow.
He feels he is happy that people are loosening up a little bit, but still very sad that they all seem very troubled. And you can't help but remember the name that someone mentioned. It sounds like they lost someone dear to them, because he heard someone whisper the name Jusant, right? That was the name you mentioned earlier.
No, I think the name was Joram.
Joran, sorry,
Joran.
I misheard you. Can you walk towards those people who mention that name?
Yeah, sure. So you see a small group of villagers gathered around a table, and they're kind of leaning, a few heads looking up towards the bard playing his song, but they are kind of still in this group, muttering to each other. As Skibiorn approaches this table, the innkeep Marin, he leans over the bar towards Asher and Zerafina, and he nods towards the bard, and he says, "That helped more than most words have lately."
I'm glad he was able to bring up the mood. And then she's also gonna look over at the food that he put to his side, and she'll say, "If I'm able to magically purify that food, would you trust it then, or would you still not trust it?"
He looks up at your circlet on your head, and he says, "Well, I see that you're a follower of the Moonlit Path. If you were to do the purifying, I suppose I might trust it."
I could give it my best shot. I believe, yes, Alarian will help me to completely cleanse the food for us. And she's gonna set up to perform a ritual to cleanse the food, the dried meat.
How do you do that? Do you have a spell that allows you to do that?
Yes, called Purify Food and Drink. I can put in the chat.
Okay.
Nice.
I mean, that sounds like it does what that
Nice.
sounds like it does
Very
what you want it
nice.
to do, doesn't it?
And it doesn't consume the spell slot if I do it as a ritual.
If you do
right?
it as a ritual, yeah, but it will take you 10 minutes, so you're not going to be able to
Yeah.
interact with anything else for the next 10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair. Yay.
Sorry, did you want to go?
No.
Kenny?
No.
Okay,
You
okay.
go ahead.
As Zerafina is trying to purify the food, Ski reaches the table that was talking about their skin color and Jorant. And the first thing he says is,
I've always been light-skinned individuals. Sorry, he looks like Ash.
and then he looks over at Lucian, and he's tapping his foot, which makes the table shake a little bit, obviously. And Ski says,
Him's a pretty good musician, isn't he?
I kind of want you to roll like a persuasion or like a charisma check just to see if like how these people will respond to you.
sure.
I don't necessarily think it would be a persuasion. I think I'm just going to get you to roll a flat like charisma check.
Okay. Ability check. 5.
A 5. Yeah, they don't respond favorably to you. They kind of like look up at you, and that suspicion returns as they look up at you. You are like, how tall are you? Like 8 feet tall.
8'6".
Jeez.
8'6". Pale gray skin. You've got like this black hair with streaks of like kind of gray salt and pepper going through it. And you're streaked in this ashen stuff. You imagine to them you look terrifying. You are just massive, muscular, you're hulking over them. Like, you stomp your feet slightly as you approach, and they clearly view that as like intimidation rather than you just like vibing with the music, right? The table kind of bounces a couple of times. A woman there, she clutches her hands like close to herself and like leans back. And one of the younger male villagers, he looks at you and says, "We're sorry, Master Revenant. We didn't mean to insult you. Please, leave us be."
God, Master Revenant. Jeez.
Yeah. Also, I double checked. I'm not 8'6". I'm 7'6". Sorry.
Fall down by a
Yeah.
Master's revenant. Who was that?
That's what you are, isn't it? Came from the Ash. A revenant. Servant to the Ash. Here to punish us, probably.
Ski looks over at his party members. Lucian's busy. He noticed that Zerafina also got busy doing something else, and he goes,
Washers, was this a revenant?
So was it directed at me?
Yes, Asher, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Revenant?
These people here saying that I's a revenant from the Ash. Sorry.
Do I know that word?
Probably roll like a religion check, I think. Religion or Arcana.
I'll go for religion.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know that a revenant is kind of like a vengeful spirit, a person who's returned from the dead and seeks revenge against the living, essentially, in most cases. In some cases, they also might guard tombs and crypts and things like that.
I think Ash is just going to chuckle at that.
He just lolls.
He just lolls.
And he's going to turn back to the innkeep and say, "How are you for water?"
Okay. Okay, so the innkeeper, he kind of looks at you. He looks at you and he says, I won't lie, we are not doing too great. We draw water from the well in the center of town, but it's rare that it comes up free of ash.
If my companion there is purifying such things, if you like, I could draw some water from the well and bring it in to be purified.
That would be much appreciated.
I know Seraphina's in the middle of the ritual. Would she be able to hear this and maybe give a response?
Yeah, I think you would. Ritual just means that you are concentrating and you are focused on this task. But I think you're still present. I don't think you're necessarily just completely incapable.
Turning out.
But while you're at it, why don't you tell us what it actually looks like when you're casting this ritual, purify food and drink? What do you do? What kind of little rituals do you perform that maybe are part of Ilarian's, teachings and such?
I think she'd be hovering her hands above the food, and once again it's gonna get surrounded in a silver glow, and it's almost gonna look like some of the, I guess probably some of the ash is kind of dissipating away off of it, and she's gonna be quietly praying to herself, something like, "Oh, Larian, please clean this food so that we can help these poor people."
I think that it does work. First of all, although it feels like the ash is resistant to your spell, it does work, and as you're casting this and this silver light passes over it, same as before, you feel this glimmer within you, protecting you, particularly from this ashen influence, and you see some of these flecks of ash sort of almost melting like snow and fading away and drifting away into nothingness. And the food in front of you on the bar, it starts to look a bit more appetizing.
Yeah, and to the water comment, she's also going to say, "I can also create some water for us if you have a large container for me to put it in."
The innkeep looks at you and he nods, and he nods to Zerafina, and then he nods to Asher and he says, "If you bring it, there's a pile of buckets just beside the well. If you bring in just as much water as you can carry, purify as much of it as you can, that would be... words could not describe how much we would appreciate it."
Of course. I can make about probably 10 buckets worth of water, along with purifying whatever is brought in.
Okay. Yeah, so your purify food and drink, it's like within a 5-foot radius sphere. So that's quite good. Like you'd probably be able to get a decent amount of buckets in that, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like buckets around her and then the food on the table.
Piled up, like buckets on one on top of the other. Yeah, so Asher, are you going to go outside and start drawing water from the well?
I'm going to start making my way out, and on my way, I'm going to pat Ski on the arm and say, got some use for your muscles. Follow me.
Well, you still haven't answered me questions.
Remind me.
All right.
He walks out with Asher.
I'll begin collecting buckets, the empty ones. Seraphina needs as much water as you can carry.
Oh, no problems at all.
Would you like to make it a contest?
Oh, little Asher, I don't think you can carry more than I.
How do we decide which one carries more?
Yeah, I mean, you would just do a contested athletics check, basically,
Okay.
to see who manages it. If you're willing to do a contest.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty
Okay.
much accepted by telling him I don't think I could that he could carry more than me.
So you start like loading up buckets of water, drawing water from the well. This task will probably take about as long as it takes for
mine.
Okay, and we'll get to that in a sec. So it's probably going to take about as long as it takes for Seraphina to purify this food on the bar. And obviously we've got Lucian playing his lute throughout this whole time, kind of this calming atmosphere. Even from outside, well, as you head back outside and the ash surrounds you once again, you do hear you feel the warmth fading away from inside the tavern, and you can still hear the music coming from within, from Lucian's lute, but it becomes muffled as you head back outside into the ash. Now, you draw water from the well, and I assume what you're going to do is you're basically going to load the buckets onto like poles and carry them over your back so that you can carry multiple buckets at once. Because otherwise it's going to be. Yeah, like there's poles for carrying water there just beside the well.
Okay.
Because that would be that would be what the villagers would do when they needed a large quantity of water. But yeah, roll an contested athletics check to see how many buckets you can carry.
That's
I've got a bit of an idea. Could I, upon sort of filling up the buckets, sort of go quite low to the ground and use my breath weapon to try and freeze the top so that I can effectively create like a lid so that I can carry them on an angle without them spilling? Therefore get more buckets on the pole.
You're going to use your frosty breath to basically freeze over these buckets. Well, I mean, sure. Like I said that you could freeze stuff with your breath, so yeah, you can do that.
Okay, we'll use. Yeah, so I'll set them up in a sort of like a general sort of triangle formation, and I'll use my breath weapon in a cone.
Okay.
Don't want to measure a template. There we go. So I'm going to kneel down and I'm just going to slowly exhale. And there's going to be quite a deep guttural hiss as Asher's throat sac and sort of the organs around the throat begin to expand and contract as this great cloud of condensing, freezing air passes over.
Skibion, how do you react to that, if at all?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ski watches this happen and goes,
Or never seen anything the likes of this. Or.
Finds it a little entertaining, basically, because it's new, it's all magical. It's really neat.
So yeah, you freeze over some of the buckets. I again, it's not going to affect how much you can carry, but it might make it a little bit easier for you to carry the amount that you can carry, because it's still going to weigh the same, right? So what we're going to do is we'll do an contested athletics check, and rather than giving you advantage, Asher, I'm just going to give you a flat +2 bonus to the roll.
Okay.
Is that just a normal check, or because you keep saying contested? Is that something? Is a special roll
just
that
make a normal check. Contested is just a term to mean that you're rolling against something else.
Oof, 14.
All right, I'll roll it.
Oh,
You carry an exactly equal amount of water to each other.
Ski looks over at Asher and looks a little impressed because he's carrying the same amount as him, and goes,
Whoa, that's very impressive, Asher. Good.
That's it.
Okay, you carry the water back into the tavern, and as you enter, you see Zerafina's just about coming up to the end of her ritual. This quiet incantation ending, and this food on the bar now looks quite delicious. And as you enter, also you do see that a few villagers have kind of crowded around Zerafina, and they're looking at this food, and they look really, really hungry. As they're gathered around, they're looking with admiration at the high elf, and they're like, wow, we were so lucky to have you arrive here, Miss Serafina. Thank you so much.
Don't thank me, thank Alarian. He sent me here to help you.
Oh, praise Alarian, you hear. Lucian, are you still playing? Is there anything you would like to do? Would you like
I think Lucian will just keep playing, just to lighten the mood. He sees Zerafina's doing some sort of ritual there, assuming that she's helping people, and seeing Ski and Asher bringing in water, he's just gonna keep playing, just to lighten the mood.
Okay. Yeah, I think that the overall mood in the tavern has lightened up somewhat. You do get a sense of more positivity coming from within the tavern. Asher and Skibion, as you enter, and Lucy and Zerafina kind of, looking around, you can see that the villagers have cheered up somewhat. The hearth seems a bit less like just a light against the darkness, and it's a bit more kind of sociable, a little bit more friendly of a vibe in here. A lot of the villagers seem to have warmed up to you somewhat, and maybe they are not as scared of you anymore. But a few of them still have that suspicion, and you do see some of the sort of grouchier looking individuals are still kind of crouched in corners, arms folded, and they're kind of glaring at you, clearly not trusting. But the innkeep is kind of he's passing around ale to some of the customers, some of the guests.
He walks up to Zerafina and tries to gently put down the buckets of water.
We brings waters for yours attention, Miss Zerafina.
Oh, thank you, Ski. I'll get started
You're welcome, miss.
I'll get started on cleansing this as well.
All right, Zerafina, you get right back into it. Once again, preaching for Ilarion to purify this water. You do see, looking at this water as well, some of it is cleaner than other bits of it. A lot of it, it all does have some motes of ash kind of drifting through it as well. And, half of the buckets are frozen on top due to Asher's breath weapon.
Yeah. I'm assuming she can still purify it even if it's in frozen form, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would still count as food or drink, I guess. At what point does freezing water become a food instead of a drink? I don't know, but
yeah.
But either way, yeah, you're able to purify it. Again, it's going to be another 10 minutes, so we'll go around and we'll see what everyone else is doing during those 10 minutes. Obviously, Lucian, you said that you'd continue playing your instrument.
Yes.
Skibion and Asher, you currently have nothing to do, so is there anything either of you would like to do? I'll start by asking Asher if you'd like to do anything.
Okay. As part of his strategy for sort of lightening the mood a little bit, as Zeraphine is going to be purifying the buckets of water, he's going to take one of his various blades out, and he's just going to break the layer of ice which is formed on each of the buckets that he's brought in, and he's going to mix it around a little bit, so that everyone's got access to a bit of iced water, something that tastes perhaps a little bit fresher.
Okay, nice. Cool. Yeah, okay, so you basically make a nice iced drink for them. That's nice. Okay, good. So, yeah, you're doing that. Skibion?
Before that happened and Asher was putting down his buckets of that had a top layer of frozen water, he looks at Zeraphina and points at the buckets and goes,
"Oh, that was really impressive."
What was impressive? What is he referring to? Sorry?
Yeah.
He was pointing to the buckets of frozen water, the frozen top layer.
Okay.
He's basically saying, that was really cool, basically.
It was cool.
How did these become frozen?
Or Asher done using his breath attacks, I think.
Oh, at least the water will be nice and chilled when it thaws out.
Or never thought of that either. Oh, y'all are so smart peoples.
Bless him.
Bless him.
So, in the meantime, is there anything else you would like to do, Skibion? Do you want to talk to anyone? Say anything?
No, he could tell that people are a little scared. Actually, no. You know what? No. He's gonna go back
Fuck 'em.
to. Yeah, I was gonna say. Actually, I'm gonna go back to the original group of people if I can find them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, aren't you a revenant? He's gonna go back and ask about Jorant again.
Joram.
Or he was. Sorry, I keep screwing up his name. Jorand?
Joram. Joram.
Joram. Okay,
Me.
sorry.
Jorama.
So he walks back up to them and says,
Sorry, I had to leave. My friend needed some help. Yous was talking about Joram earlier. Was a friend of yours?
They still seem suspicious of you, but they do look. They do still seem suspicious of you, but as you've come back into the tavern and you clearly seem to be helping, they do seem to be kind of a little bit more at ease. One of them, perhaps like a braver looking one, like a younger man, he looks up at you and he says, Joram's Edrin's son, village cooper. He's about 16.
What happened to him?
Well, Joram was one of the first to get sick. Collapsed in the road while hauling firewood for his father. Claimed the shadows were loud. Stung like needles in his head.
Oh, like needles. That's very unfortunate. I have a sons myself, and it would pain me greatly to see him in pains. Is Joram still with us?
Well, he's with us, I suppose, in a sense. He just sits still for hours, doesn't blink. Lips moving like he's listening to something no one else can hear. He shuns the light, hides away from it, covers his head. Seems to forget who he is, who he's spoken to, where he is. He's nothing like he used to be. So we called him Ash-touched, and we use the same. That's what we call everyone who starts to show symptoms.
Alright. I thank ye kindly for sharing with me.
Ski looks a little like he's got like parental sympathy for Arid. He's a little sad now, so he kind of he tries to tap on the table lightly, you know, like on like a fine, like, you know, oh, this conversation's over, like tap tap, and then walks away and joins Zerafina to silently watch her perform her ritual.
Okay. As you approach the bar, the innkeep Marin, he leans over the bar towards you, Skibion, and he says, I tell you another thing. If you truly want to help us, I wasn't sure at first, but seeing what you're doing, I'd like to ask you for a favor. Now, there is some place you could start if you don't mind helping us. You seem like brave adventurers and strong.
Always willing to help.
He nods. He says, the herbalist upstairs, Alva, she's doing her best, but what we really need is a proper healer. Now, the Hearthlows, they're farms west of here, near the tree line, good folk. Garen, Lena, 2 little ones. They've not come into town for maybe a 10-day now. No one's seen so much as a lantern in their window. So, I was wondering if you might consider going out to the Hearthlow farm and seeing what happened to them. Bring them back if they're still alive. Lena's a midwife, a healer herself. She could do more for the people here than Alva. He pauses, looking down to the floor, and then he looks up at you and meets your gaze again, and he says, I'd go myself, but I got mouths in here to watch over, and
Aye.
not all of us come back from that road.
Or I'm sure's me and my friends won't mind going to the farms, but I won't make that decisions by myself.
Again, Asher, you would hear this, and you're unoccupied at the moment. And Zerafina, you'd also have heard this, but you are currently in the middle of your ritual. Lucian, you're on the other side of the room, so you don't.
I'm on the other side of the room. I don't hear shit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Lucian's jamming.
Oh yeah.
When was the last time you heard from this family at all?
Like I said, it's been a 10-day now. Haven't seen or heard hide nor hair of the Hearthlows since then.
10 days is long times.
And how far is it away?
Not far, maybe hour or two's walk west down the road, down the trail.
Well, that sounds reasonably close. We should goes. I mean, I think we should goes.
Ski looks over at Zerafina to see if she's still doing her ritual.
Yeah, she's still in the middle of it.
Okay.
I think since it's been about 2 conversations, I think we can come to the end of your ritual. By now, the water would be looking much the clearer. Half of the buckets, again, with kind of cracked and like little ice cubes basically in them from Asher, but the water is pure and clear. And I would imagine that some of the villagers now have started, like, you know, they've taken some of the food, some of the meat that you brought, and they've been like chewing on it. And as the ritual ends, they kind of furtively take, you know, some of them just take a bucket back to their table, and they sort of share the water out in wooden cups among the people on their table. And again, just in this kind of 20-30 minutes that you've been here in the tavern, the mood has like completely shifted from quiet suspicion and moroseness, a somber attitude, to a kind of an almost festive feeling atmosphere in here now. It's almost like a little party. You guys have really brought kind of a light into this dark world from your arrival and the actions that you've immediately made to help these people. They clearly have sort of warmed up to you now, and they seem to be a certain level of trust. Like I said, there's always going to be some people. You do still see a few people there who look a little bit suspicious, a little bit grouchier, and they're kind of like staring at you as if they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. But the vast majority seem to have cheered up a little bit.
There's always those fuckers at a party. Always.
Ski looks around and definitely notices the happier vibes and go,
Now this feels like a proper tavern now.
he's obviously really happy that things have turned around and things aren't people aren't worried so much anymore, and they're letting themselves be happy again.
Yeah, Marin looks up at you and he laughs. He goes, "Well, you've done an awful lot in such a short time. Things keep going like this, I might even have to start charging again."
Ski lets out a large rumbling laughter. Or.
Well, in that case, Thunderwave the fucking tavern. No.
Thunderwave the tavern.
No.
Hear a voice in your head. Do it. Thunderwave.
What? What do you say?
So you said that Alva's upstairs. I'd like to speak with her to see what she's discovered so far. But
Okay.
before that, I did need to ask, Arid wanted to make sure that his wife Elia and his son Tommen are okay. Have you heard from them?
Marin, he looks at you and he nods and he says, yes, they're doing fine, so much as I can tell. I've asked them both to come and stay in the tavern, but they refused. From what I can tell, they haven't been touched by the ash as of yet. I think it's only a matter of time for all of us, really, if nothing's done about it before long.
Yes, hopefully we can look into the source of the problem so we can stop it from happening. I think I'll speak with Alva and then we might go find Lena.
She's doing her best, but I'm not sure how much she can tell you, really. I don't mean to talk down to the poor lass, but I don't think she's really done anything to help with the plague itself. Just provided a few words of comfort to the people, but I don't think any of her concoctions are really doing anything.
I could probably help with that, but she might at least be able to tell me, since she's been working closely with all the infected, what the symptoms are, any patterns she's seen.
Anything you could find from talking to her, I'm sure it would help. She's just upstairs down the hall.
Zephyrin's gonna look. I'm guessing she can see the stairs?
The stairs would be basically through a door to the side of the bar, and then you would go up the stairs through the back. He does say to you, "I can show you the way if you want."
Yes, please do.
Okay. He leads you up the stairs and down a small hall with a few doors to either side. All of these doors are open, and you can see in the beds within that there are sick people lying on the beds. Few of them kind of still, few chests sort of slowly rising and falling, some coughing, choked coughing that actually seems reminiscent of the wolves that you met on the road inside these rooms. And he leads you down to the end of the hall where there's kind of a larger suite, and inside here it seems like there's several beds have been dragged in here, and there's also some bedrolls on the floor, and there's a few more villagers lying on these. And you do see a young woman in there. She has long dark hair, and she's kind of sitting beside one of these beds in which an older woman is lying there. She's holding her hand and murmuring some words of comfort to this old woman.
Seraphine is gonna slowly approach. She obviously doesn't want to interrupt if this may be a ritual or somewhat.
Yeah.
And wait to see if the woman looks up or anything.
Yeah, as you approach, she does look up at you, and you hear her say, I'm here, Marla, I'm here. And then she looks up at you and the innkeep as you approach. Marin looks to Alva and he says, brought a priestess here, a follower of Velaryon. She wants to see if you know anything that could help her. She wants to try and heal the people. Try now, Alva. Tell her what you know and answer her questions, will you? Thank you for everything you're doing. And he nods to her, a slight respectful bow. And Alva nods and he says, of course, Marin. And he heads back into the hall and downstairs again. Alva looks up at you, Zerafina. Says, she sort of nods to you and she says, I'm Alva. What was it that you wanted to know?
I'm Zerafina. I wanted to know what do you think is... Well, clearly the ash is causing this. But if you knew how it's affecting the people and what could be the cause. Is it eating the ash? Is it touching the ash?
She looks at you and she says, well, the symptoms, it always begins with the eyes. They become red, wet, slow to blink. Some tear up. Others stop blinking at all, just staring ahead. After that, it spreads inwards. It seems to cloud their memory. It's not a normal illness. It doesn't respond to willow bark or fever root, the herbs that I would normally use to treat fever. I tried poultices, but they don't respond. Their bodies just cool down and stiffen. And they seem to be hearing something. They mutter to themselves and shiver like they heard a whisper. The ash... Well, the people started getting sick when the ash first arrived. It gets in their clothes, under their fingernails. Even when I wipe a surface clean, it comes back. Half of my time up here is spent cleaning the ash from within. Even though the windows are closed, the doors are closed, somehow it finds a way, it settles, and it hangs in the air. I'm not a scholar, I'm not a priestess like you. I'm just trying to keep them from slipping away, but I worry that it's not working.
I'm sure they appreciate the comfort, at the very least, though, that you've been providing them with.
She shrugs. She says, well, I can only hope.
So it seems that you think it starts with the ash getting in their eyes, then, if it starts with their eyes watering and turning red.
I think that that's where the symptoms start. I don't know what's going on inside them, but that's the first most obvious sign, yes. The eyes become red, that it's the way this ash clings and settles and gets into every little crevice and gap. It seems to get into their eyes and cloud their sight.
And this ash, it started coming down from the mountain? Is that where it came from?
It started with Joram, the Cooper's boy. He was delivering firewood from the mines. And then it continued with some of the miners becoming sick and coming down as well. That's where it began, and that's where the ash first spread out from as well. It's got to have something to do with the mine, something to do with the mountain, Mount Veilgrim. That's where we mine our silver. And it must have something to do with it. But the villagers refused to go back to the mine. The miners collapsed the main tunnel a few weeks ago and then came back to the village. But it didn't stop the ash.
So there's no way to go into the mines now?
It's blocked off. You would need to clear the rubble first. But I wouldn't recommend it. The rumors that the miners told, I think it sounds dangerous. It sounds deadly.
What rumors did they tell? What was in the mine?
They told of voices coming from deeper within the mine and shadows that walked. A pale figure at the edge of the woods when they left the mine. Something watching.
I think Zerafina that would sound familiar after the display that they had in the woods earlier with Lucian. Talking about something there. Standing and watching. But she's gonna say that if the source is in the mines, I feel that must be where we'd have to go to stop the problem, to stop the ash from coming.
She considers that for a moment and she says, well, I can't deny your logic. If that's where it came from, then that must be where whoever's causing this, whoever or whatever is causing this, must reside there, right? So it must be where, if you hope to stop this ash from coming, then that's where you need to go.
I'm sure. I think first, though, I need to see if I can help heal those who are here before we head out on such a dangerous task.
What we really need is... we need Lena. She's the one who should be sitting up here, not me. She's delivered half the babies from here to the crossroads in the last 10 years.
Yeah, Marin mentioned Lena, that she hasn't been seen in a while. I think that's where we were gonna head to next after we finish up here, to see if we can find her so she can also help.
That would do so much for us. I'm sure that Lena would know more that we can do to help. She trained in healing in High March, and she knows more about the healing arts than I do. Even a little magic.
With that, I think Zerafina is going to look over at the older woman in the bed, and she's gonna probably see to try to check on her as well and see if she can notice anything that Alva didn't mention yet.
Okay, you look over the old woman. She is awake, and but as I said, her eyes are looking red and kind of blank a little bit. Why don't you roll a medicine check?
Okay, that's a 23.
Okay, yeah, you looking over her, you can see that her breath is kind of ragged and her chest is rising and falling a little unsteadily. You take her pulse and you can see that her pulse, you can feel that her pulse is weak and irregular. Her eyes are red, they're kind of rimed over, almost like a kind of cataract seems to be forming. But as you look closely into the eyes, you can see that it's made up of these tiny little flecks of ash, covering her retina. And you can also see that her lips are twitching very, very slightly, as if she's trying to say something, but there's no sound. That's all you see.
And then I think she's also going to try using detect poison and disease to see if she can.
Yeah, can you post that in chat and tell us what it does?
Yes. So And I think that, yeah, that's also a ritual. Okay. For duration, you sense the location of poisons, poisonous or venomous creatures and magical contagions within 30 feet of yourself. You sense the kind of poison, creature, or contagion in each case. And it's blocked by, the usual.
Oh.
So I can detect the kind.
When did you prepare all these extremely useful spells?
when we had the level up and the long rest that we took in the night.
Well, just hand over your sheets, buddy. Come on. Let's see them.
You can.
It's very convenient. You happen to have all of these. Anyway, I trust you. What does it look like when you cast detect poison and disease?
I think it's gonna look probably quite similar to the detect good and evil we did. I think it was first session, where she's gonna like close her eyes and kind of just like look like she's like reaching out with her senses, and there's gonna be like a slight silver glow coming like between her eyelids while she focuses and tries to detect things.
Okay, you do that, and you do sense, you sense that there is a magical contagion. It's within 30 feet, so basically the entire inn, you can tell that, about half of the people in the inn are contaged. I don't know what the word is. They are infected. They are infected, yeah. You can tell that it is a magical contagion, and you can sense that pretty much all of these patients in the upper floors are sick with it, and there are a few people downstairs in the common room who have begun to become infected by it, but are not currently showing symptoms. But you can sense it with your spell. The kind of poison, creature, or contagion, I'm honestly not sure what in D&D the different kinds of contagion are, but you can tell that it is a contagion of a magical origin. That's pretty much it.
Okay. So, yeah, pretty much it's just the ash is some kind of magical contagion. Yeah, okay.
I imagine if it was the kind of contagion, if it was like a common or well-known disease, you would know exactly what it is. Like, say it's the flu or whatever, you would know what it is. It's COVID, COVID Valent or whatever. They got Spatecock. But this one, like, it's unidentified. You don't know what this is, but you do know that it's a magical contagion.
Okay.
He doesn't want to give you his notes.
And then, let's see. I think with that, she's going to turn to Alva, and she's going to say, I can tell that it must be the ash is some kind of magical disease, but I can't tell much more from it. Any more information about it?
Well, we have all suspected as much, that it wasn't natural in origin. It certainly doesn't seem natural, does it? But it's good to know for certain.
Yeah. I think it's best if we find Lena soon, because I can heal, but it would take a long time for me to heal everyone here who's infected.
She nods and she says, well, it's been over 10 days since anyone's seen her or the Hearthlow family at all. They were always very careful people, kept their fences mended, their tools clean. I know that Garen would have sent word if something had gone wrong, if it was possible for him to send word. But if there's anyone who could keep them breathing in that cursed ash, it's Lena. I just worry that if she's still out there, still alive, she's running out of time.
Yes, it seems that there's not much time for anyone.
Then I implore you to go as swiftly as you can.
Yes, I'll see if my companions are are ready to make way towards Lena's. You just stay here and you keep helping as best as you can until we come back. She's gonna put her hand on her shoulder, like, in comfort.
She sort of half smiles at you, Zerafina, and she says, "Thank you, Zerafina. Bless Ilarion."
Yes, bless Ilarion. They sent me to help you, and I'm glad they did.
She nods at you again. So you head back downstairs. Did anyone want to have been doing anything or done anything or said anything in particular while Zerafina was upstairs? I know that was quite a long time that we spent just with Zerafina. So if anyone had anything that they wanted to do, let me know before Zerafina comes back down.
I think Asher will be speaking with Ski. He'll have said, "Do you remember the other night, the rabbit?"
Or 'twas sad-looking rabbits.
It was not too dissimilar from the wolves, although it looked a little further gone. If the people upstairs end up going that way, will you hesitate to use your axe?
Or I won't likes it, but if I has to protect people, I wills.
Good.
And Ski looks down and he's like rotating his axe in his hand. He's looking at the sharp edge and he goes,
Ashers, you still hasn't told me what's a revenant.
It's a vengeful creature.
What kind's a vengeful creature?
Something that's come back from the dead.
He looks back at the table where the people accused him of being a revenant, and he just kind of clamps up a little bit. He goes,
raises his great axe above his head.
Yeah. Starts yelling at the table. No.
I'm not vengeful.
Wait a minute. No. He just kind of looks like he's like, oh,
okay. Thank you, Ashers.
Such a gentle giant.
Okay, Zerafina, you return to the common room. You see Lucien. Are you still playing your lute, Lucien?
I think he's winding down now. Like his fingers are starting to like cramp up a little bit. He's winding it down now, and he's finishing up.
You got blisters on your fingers yet?
I've got blisters on my fingers.
I got blisters on my fingers.
There you go.
Lucien, you're winding down your song, Zerafina, you enter back in. You can see that sort of a few people in the tavern have kind of finished their meal and they're like leaning back. Some of them are snoozing a little bit. The air in this tavern now is a bit more like it's calm, it's more positive still. And there's a certain sense of like a little bit of hope. Some of them look up at you, Zerafina, and they clearly seem to have put like most of their kind of like hopes and trust into you in particular. Maybe because you're just a little bit less scary looking than the rest of the party. Maybe because you purified this food and drink for them. Because you went to talk to the herbalist and basically agreed to go and find their missing midwife. So, you know, you seem to have kind of gathered the trust of some of these villagers. You enter back in, you can see Asher and Ski Bjorn kind of close to each other talking quietly. Yeah, what does everyone want to do?
Ski. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because the detect poison disease is a 10-minute lasting thing. So I think when she comes back in, like that's still kind of, she can still detect. She's going to just nod at the people, you know, who are looking at her. She's going to walk over to the rest of the group, and she is going to focus a bit of that that concentration to detect poison disease on Lucian to see if she detects anything.
What? Kill her now?
Okay, Kajol's face. Kajol's like, God damn it. I'm not ready yet.
Okay. You focus on Lucien with your detect poison and disease, still sensing it. And strangely enough, you don't sense anything. He seems to be completely healthy.
Fuck. I'm dead. I'm gonna die.
I'm fucking dead.
Yeah, you were obviously suspicious that he, from the things that he'd said, that he might be going a little bit, nutty. But detecting on him, you don't sense anything. However, you do detect that Skibiorn has begun feeling the contagion.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, she's probably gonna, after detecting Lucian's fine, after that concerned display, then there's gonna be some relief, but then immediately detecting Ski, she's gonna go right back to being very concerned.
Skibiorn, you feel fine though.
Good. I was gonna ask, how do I feel? Good. I feel fine. Excellent.
She's just gonna, keep a concerned eye on Ski from now on, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that you would probably discern that maybe when the wolf exploded in Skibiorn's and the ash got into his eyes, that might be when he became infected.
Yeah, I think that's also why she was asking about if it starts in the eyes, because she's gonna remember that that exploded into Ski's eyes. And I'm assuming she didn't detect anything on Asher either, right?
No.
Okay, yeah. I guess she's gonna look at Ski and probably say, "How are you feeling?"
Or so kind of you, Miss Zarafina. I fit as a fiddle. Could use a little sleep though.
It has been a long night. I'm glad to hear you're feeling well, though.
Just fine.
Do I notice, or do I even come to think that she only asked me and not the other two?
If you want to, make a check, if you want to roll insight, then you can do so.
Would he? You know what? No. He wouldn't have even thought of it.
No, he doesn't even consider it. He's just like, oh, she's just being nice.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, she's being so nice to me. Nope. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
What time is it at this point in game?
So you had rested until the very early hours, and then you traveled a few hours to get here. So you arrived at dawn. You arrived at the tavern at dawn. So, and you've only been here for about an hour. So I would say it is, it's late, not even late morning. It's more like it's still early morning, basically. But it is, it was dawn and the sun is rising.
Okay. Well, it sounds like Zweez has to go and help the farm over there. What do you guys think?
I'm itching to go. I don't feel useful here.
Miss Zarafina, we might have more peoples to help at a farm. Would ye kindly join us?
Yes, we definitely need to find Lena, because it'll definitely make the work here easier to heal everyone. I can heal, but it would take much too long to get through to healing everyone, especially when we don't have too many days left, I feel.
Ski looks over. Did Lucian join us by now, or is he like packing up his
I think
loot?
he's making his way over to the rest of the group now.
Okay. Because then he looks over at Lucian walking towards the group.
Lucian, where's they're heading out? Going to a farm.
We're going to a farm?
Yes, hopefully lots of cute little animals to go on pets.
Are we finishing up business here at the tavern?
Or I thinks we're done. Miss Zarafina has done a lot of good work here.
That's good to hear. Serafina, did they pay for your services?
No, they didn't. They didn't need to.
They didn't pay you either, Lucian.
They didn't pay me either. That is true. That is true.
That's why he stopped playing the lute after 50 minutes of playing. Goes a bunch of cheapskates. And
Yeah, he's like, oh, no coins. Well, I guess I'll go fuck myself then. I don't know. Well, I think it's I mean, what time is it? It's always so grey around here.
Oh, I know it's difficult to tell, isn't it?
But we should probably set off. If it's not nighttime yet, we should probably set off before it gets dark.
I don't think it's night time. We arrived shortly after the sun. I think the sun
It's very hard to tell. It's very hard to tell. This gray. It's always just gray.
I mean, it was when we came here. It was brighter than earlier's. That should mean the sun risen.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think it's best that we go on our way then.
I agree.
All right. So since you're all in agreement, I assume that you are going to head out along the western trail towards the Arthlow farm. So you travel west down an old cart path, even a little bit thinner than the one that you traveled from the crossroads west north, but this one is a little bit better maintained actually. However, it is, again, it's coated in this like an inch or two of ash, which thickens underfoot as you head further west. And this, you are currently on the foothill of Mount Veilgrim, this like grey rock heading up. And funnily enough, you can still see the dark greyness of this mountain, even though the ash is in the air and coating the ground. It seems like it settles more lightly on the mountain itself as you head further west. And you walk for about half an hour until Skibiorn, you actually see something kind of familiar. By the side of the road, you can see a small pile of stones, a little cairn that seems to have been built there, which looks pretty much exactly like what the Seekers of Orimatha would occasionally build as part of their worship.
When I see this, I gasp and just book it and start running toward it.
Okay, you run towards this stone cairn. You can see there's a wide drift of ash spilling across the path, and you rush towards it. As you do so, I would like you to roll a dex saving throw.
Oh, jeez.
The thing is, I knew it, but I wasn't dex saving throw.
Bear in mind, you do have, I think, danger sense. So you have advantage on dexterity saving throws.
Oh.
Because you just leveled up to level 2 barbarian, so you have you have danger sense now.
Danger sense. Yeah.
Okay, well I just rolled 1, which gave me I rolled 1 die rather, which gave me a 16. I'll roll a second one.
Okay.
Saving throw. Good. I mean, no.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 16.
All right, with a 16, as you rush towards this stone, this little pile of stones, you feel the ash fold around your legs, and beneath it, it feels like something stirs in the drift of ash. You feel like your danger sense activates, your spidey senses tingle. you feel like I have to jump aside right now. You jump aside, and you see the ash just sort of collapse with a low hiss, and something stirs beneath it, slow and glistening.
God.
A shape like rotted clay moves underneath it and rises up. Some kind of amorphous shape slowly emerges and moves towards you. And I'm just going to put you on a hastily drawn battle map.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
It's the cairn.
Hey.
It's a really well drawn cairn.
I love it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, we're just moving everyone onto the
battle
this
map.
Incredible battle map that I've drawn.
That's so much detail. I cannot ask for any more.
Oh God, what the hell is that thing?
What the hell is that?
Oh, it's a blob.
I don't like it.
I like how everybody's like instantly like, what the fuck is that? Zoom.
So thanks to your danger sense, you
Enhance.
are not surprised. So we will roll
Nice.
initiative.
Oh.
As we're rolling initiative, Ski yells out,
Be careful, everyone.
Oh.
Okay. Amazing rolls,
Oh.
everyone.
no, stop it. This is just standard rolls for us, all below 6. It's great.
Not like this.
Not like this.
So this strange, slimy, ash-filled creature goes first, and it is going to attack you, Skibion, with a pseudopod, which is basically a tentacle that it's going to slap you with.
Okay. Oh, it's a landcephalid.
Quickly, somebody
Great.
put some BFG division on for us. Some music.
Oh yeah, I gotta put some combat music on. Good point. All right,
Oh, jeez.
rolls a 10 to hit.
10. No, that's a miss.
All right, you manage to avoid this slimy tendril as it snakes towards you.
Right.
Following that, it is going to be Hannibal's turn. Lucian, what do you do?
Lucian is gonna see this writhing slime ball. He's gonna be like, "Oh God, it's not again!" And he is going to run past these kiddos right over here, and he is going to use his Thunder Wave to produce a massive shockwave from his loot.
All right.
Now,
go
did we
ahead
say
and-
that
So-
I'm gonna?
So yeah, the ruling is basically it can be any 15-foot square that is like on the edge of your token, but not including your token.
Not including my token. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's gonna, because that's how it's
weird that it
allowing
does
me
it
to
by
put it down.
20.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's
Yeah.
like it wants me to put. I can't do it
That's
any
not
other
just
way.
me, Yeah, that's.
Well, I
Oh, no,
think that you can just use the measurement tool to draw it.
Should I
So
just
I
use the
assume you're
measurement
doing it
tool
like
then?
This.
Yeah, like that. Yes, exactly. Because it's 15 by 15. It's not 20 by 20.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
So again, what does your thunder wave look like? How do you cast it?
So, I mean, let's make it interesting, shall we? Instead of the loot, it's gonna be the bagpipes, right? He's gonna like to start blowing up his bagpipes. He's gonna, and then as he's blowing, you see like electricity winding around the bagpipes, and then he's gonna like squeeze and blow out a tune that is just filled with this thunderous electricity blasting forward.
Okay, there's a loud boom, a thunderous boom that is audible within 300 feet, so it's extremely loud. And the creature now has to take a Constitution saving throw, which I will do now. So it rolls a 21.
Oh my
Jesus
god!
So it
Control.
takes half of 2d8. So roll 2d8 and then half it.
Okay. Half of 2d8. Okay, I'm gonna roll on the attack itself, and then we'll just half it.
Okay, and we round up.
It's a
so
5.
It takes 3 thunder damage, and it is not pushed back. However, the stone cairn behind it, all of the stones just scatter outwards.
I'm sorry, Ski.
So Ski notices this and lets out a very loud, angry yell.
Oh shit!
Give us a very loud, angry yell, Theo, please.
No.
Completely cut out.
Redacted.
I figured.
No.
That's gonna be Discord's fault and probably my Elgato software just cutting me out. Both of them are like, we gotta cut this noise out.
Okay,
Thanks,
is that your turn
Discord.
then, Lucian?
Yeah, that is. Well, you know what? My last movement, just my last 5 feet, just
Move
gonna
back a
step
little bit.
back. Seeing as this thing was like not reacting to what he did at all, he's gonna like kind of like hesitantly step back a little bit, like, oh shit.
Okay. Asher.
Cajole, as actually
Your turn.
before we go to Asher's turn,
Yeah.
even though I didn't ready up like my rage, I know that's not a thing, but because the cairn got destroyed, can he go into a rage as a reaction?
You can, but it will be on your turn. So
It'll be on my turn.
Yeah.
yeah, it will be on your turn. Bearing in mind, like, you know, the kind of age-old adage with D&D is that everything is happening on a turn within the same 6 seconds. So you going into a rage after seeing this will still be, you know, it
Within
will
like
still
12
be
seconds. Oh yeah.
Relevant to the
within
time, basically.
within the same
Yeah.
6 seconds. So yeah, it would still be a reaction. It's just that before you go into a rage, Asher has time to act.
Right. Cool.
So go ahead.
Asher's gonna ready his spear, and it looks like he's about to throw. But just looking at this thing, he's not quite sure where to hit it. So he's
Okay.
going to plant the spear in the ash next to him, and he's going to run up aside, Ski. He's going to use a flurry of blows.
Okay.
We'll see how this works. I think it's with Monk's Focus. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the first one is a 13 to hit.
13 hits.
Okay.
Ooh.
And it's not loading fully for me. I'll see if I
Are
can.
you able to roll damage, or do you want me to do it for you?
I'm gonna try and roll it, see if it works for me.
Okay.
Work around.
Oh, there we
Roll
go.
anything.
Okay,
Ah,
4.
That's 4 on the first one, and I'm gonna roll the second unarmed strike. It's just a regular unarmed strike, just to allow me to roll it.
Okay. So is this part of the same attack? So like you don't have to roll attack again, or is it a separate attack?
No, so a flurry of blows is a bonus action,
Okay.
and I get 2 unarmed strikes as part of it. This is the second unarmed strike. The second unarmed strike is a 10 to hit.
Okay, a 10 hits,
Surprising, but alright.
Ooh.
7 damage.
That's 7 damage on that one. He's then going to wind up after having completed his punches, and he's going to turn on his heels and try and roundhouse kick with his main action.
Hey.
Fucking monks, I tell ya.
I know it's crazy how much attacks you can do. Roll your attack.
What's that? I ran out of actions? Well, I'll just kick him instead.
Oh.
That's a 24.
Damn.
A 24, surprisingly enough, does hit.
Whoa.
Damn.
And as part of
Barely.
the damage, I'm going to use my Tavern Brawler feat to kick him 5 feet, to kick this creature 5 feet back.
Okay.
Woo!
Oh, full damage.
Maximum damage. Damn.
Maximum damage. I mean, you kill it, so how do you want to kill it?
Oh, damn.
Okay. Okay, so I plant the spear in the ground, take a deep breath, sprint up over to the creature, use my momentum to go into a flurry of punches, and then turn into a kick, and then send it flying into the can, what is left of the can.
Okay, basically this ooze just, like, explodes. All of your different attacks just cause this ooze to just explode into a splatter of sort of glistening, wet, ash-filled slime, which then basically melts and fades away into the surrounding ash as it goes flying backwards. But yeah, you took it out way faster than I expected you to. So well done for that.
With 3 attacks, no doubt.
I know. There's the insane flurry of blows. Crazy high damage. This thing just explodes. One thing though, Asher, is that since you attacked with your spear, you do notice your spear become...
I didn't attack with my spear. I put the spear in the ground. It was all fists and feet.
All fists. Okay, let me just see.
Oh, you were going to use slime rules. Ooh. Oh, I see. Yeah.
It would have all been bludgeoning.
Yeah, no, you're all good. You're all good.
Oh, damn.
Okay, yeah. You are now out of initiative.
Ski runs over to the remains of the cairn and starts investigating the cairn, the pieces of the cairn.
Yeah, you see stones that had previously been piled into a small cairn are now scattered across the ground. A few trails in the ash where Lucian had thunder waved and these stones had scattered, and they are scattered all around. Are you going to try and pick them all up and have a look at them?
I'm going to try to see if I can find any indication that it was perhaps a small shrine to Oramatha.
Okay. You look around and you find several of the stones, and finally you find the smallest one that had previously laid atop the cairn, which has a symbol engraved in it. You, Skibion, the Goliath, might be disappointed to see that the symbol on this stone is not the symbol of Oramatha, which is a mountain with an alpine flower. Instead, you see a little ring of stars encircling a 7-leafed branch.
Do I recognize what the symbol is?
Roll a Arcana check. Arcana or religion, you can choose.
I think I personally think this would be a religion. Either way, it's going to be a -1 for me, but we'll see. Hey, damn!
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Well, holy crap!
Damn.
Okay. So even with a nat 20, you don't know exactly what this is because you just wouldn't have come across it before. However, you do think that, you know, symbols like this, like stars and branches and things, especially on a simple cairn like this, you consider that this might be a that you think that this is probably a symbol of the Fae, of like witchcraft and Fae creatures and fairies.
Okay, so this makes me a little saddened that this poor cairn was destroyed, especially for such powerful creatures. So but I take the small little medallion that you mentioned, and I go to Zerafina and I go,
Miss Zerafina, I don't recognize this symbol. Can you help me?
And he hands it to her. It looks like a coin it looks like a coin in his hand.
She's gonna take the medallion. She's gonna take a look at it and see if she recognizes it.
Yeah, Skibion just like flicks at you, and you're like, whoa! It's like so heavy.
Just like,
or tiny stone.
It felt so light in my hand.
Yeah, again, like roll a religion or arcana check.
10.
I was really hoping.
Yeah.
So with a 10, you also don't recognize it particularly. You do think that like the stars, you know, the ring of stars, it's kind of like, it's almost a little bit like Ilarion, but it's this symbol in particular, like a ring of stars around a 7-leafed branch, like that just doesn't seem like something that, you don't think that it's actually anything to do with Ilarion. It's nothing that you would have seen before. Again, just similar to Skibion, you think that it could be something to do with the Fae.
I'm not sure, Ski. I've never seen this symbol before. It seems Fae-like in nature.
And he holds out his palm.
Can I has it back, please? Or
Of course. And she's going to hand it back.
He slowly walks over to Lucian, looks down at him. He's got a stern fatherly look on his face. He holds out the medallion towards him, like facing him. He goes,
you need to be more respectful to things like this.
And he turns around and he tries to rebuild the kiln, the cairn. Doesn't even give Lucian a moment to try and explain himself. He doesn't want to hear it. He's disappointed.
He's gonna talk to you back then, pal. He's gonna be like, "Hey, it was you or the little stone pile? I don't care."
But as he's rebuilding the cairn, he holds one finger up, not even looking at him. He holds one finger up, basically saying, "Wait." He's rebuilding.
A little bit of tension.
I think
He's rebuilding the cairn.
I think with that, Ash is going to approach Lucian and fold his arms and just say, I think you should help him. We wouldn't want a stampeding Goliath.
I mean, you know what? I'd rather just give him some time to cool down. He seems a bit upset.
I think you should help him.
Do I have to?
I'm just going to look at him expectantly.
Lucian's just going to like drop his shoulders like, you people in your sky magic. Fine, I'll help him. I'll help him.
Okay.
He's going to walk over.
Skibion, you slowly rebuild this cairn, taking the largest, flattest stone and putting it on the bottom. And as you're kind of halfway through, Lucian approaches and presumably hands you a stone and tries to help
I
you.
hand him one of the stones, yeah.
It looks kind of heavy in your arms, but I just pick it up with my index and thumbs. Yeah, here you go. And I put it down.
Lucian and Skibion, roll a perception check, please.
Oh.
Perception. Okay. You're so not involved that you don't even
7. 7. Yes.
I rolled a 19.
Okay, Skibion, you note that the ash around where the cairn was, it has been disturbed by the thunder wave, but you can still see a faint outline of a circle around this area in the ash.
Right.
And it looks similar to the circle that you'd seen before by that upturned wagon. And the ash here is kind of strangely soft, almost like sifted flour, a little bit thinner. It sort of seems weaker.
Right. I grab some of the ash and I just start kind of playing with it with my fingers. And I look over at Lucian.
Your circles, just like you found yesterday's.
Just stay away from it. That's all I'm saying. It's bad news.
Ski gets up now that the cairn is rebuilt. He taps Lucian on the shoulder, perhaps a little too hard, and walks away.
Meanwhile, you guys actually I convinced me to help him rebuild a witch's like cursed shrine.
Don't you feel better for it?
I feel filthy now. I feel yucky, stinky.
Okay.
And Ski walks back to the group, but he starts walking ahead. Like
okay,
he kind of just.
So you're kind of leading the way as you continue down the west road. All right. So you continue down the west road, and you walk for another half an hour or so through the ash until the trail crests a shallow ridge and drops into a small hollow. And you see down there the Hearthlow farm, or like what remains of the Hearthlow farm. You can see here that ash clings thick to everything: roofs, trees, fences and walls, everything. There's an orchard down there which groans faintly, bare branches bowed beneath the ash. The farmhouse is 2 stories and leans slightly on a stone foundation. Still intact, but half consumed by drifts of ash. You also see... that's what you see as you head down into this ash-covered hollow down below with this farmhouse. And I will show you the first of an actual map.
Ooh!
Oh.
What a treat!
Oh.
That's beautiful.
We're going to be using this map for exploration and, combat if it happens for this scene. So you will be free to move your tokens. Usually whenever we're doing this kind of exploration map thing, I advise don't move too much with each time before you say what you're doing or speaking, because I don't want you just whipping around the whole map in record time. So just take it easy, a bit by bit, and describe what you're doing and what you're investigating and things like that. Other than that, you are free to do whatever you want.
I like the music.
Well, Seraphina's going to be looking to see if there's any signs of life as they're approaching.
Okay. So you're approaching the farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking for signs of life. Roll perception as you head forward down the path.
A 9.
You don't see anything immediately, but you're still a certain distance off.
Mm.
So you don't see any signs of life. Lucian, roll perception, please.
Oh, no, jeez. Oh, jeez, Scoop, please. Perception. Let's see if I perceive anything.
Ooh, you perceive everything.
I see you through my third eye, everything.
Lucian, your eyes are drawn to the woods to the north side of the road. And you see, again, standing between 2 of the trees, you see a tall, pale figure staring at you in the distance.
Lucian is gonna, obviously that's gonna catch his eye. He's gonna be, standing still for a moment and looking at it.
As you rolled a nat 20, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about what you can see. Because it's not just going to be a vague pale figure this time.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Dad?
Hey, you. You came back with the milk.
He is the milk. Yeah.
So,
He is the milk.
So what you see, actually, is a figure that is tall, really tall, standing between the trees. And I'm talking taller than Skibiorn, taller than Asher.
Oh,
this thing looks to be about 9 feet tall. But it is reed thin, and it is wrapped in a white cloak that goes down to its very feet. You can see a pair of antlers going up from the head, branching out to either side of this figure's head. And within that 20, you can also see a bit of the detail of its face. It is quite a way off, so it's your eyesight isn't perfect, but you can see that it has pale blue-white skin, a beautiful face of a woman, and a kind of expressionless face. Pure black eyes all the way from the iris to the whites are just completely black. And it is looking towards you, giving no clue of emotion. And you see this in the mid to near distance, standing between two trees.
I think Lucian is just gonna stand still for a moment and just look at it. He's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna stand still and look at it.
Like, are we walking away from you?
If you don't notice him stop, then then it's up to you. It's a roleplay decision.
Yeah. If he stopped, I was like, well, I'm just gonna keep going for a little bit.
I think Serafino's gonna notice and be like, "Are you okay?"
No response.
No, the half-drow just seems to be staring into the trees.
She's gonna look at him and then look where he's like staring off towards, see if she sees what he's looking at.
You look into the trees. You don't see anything.
She's gonna look back at him and be like, "Lucian?
Are you in front of me, or are you sticking it in front of me, or?"
I think at this point, after you weren't responding, she's gonna kind of try to be more in front of him to see if she can snap him out of whatever weird state he seems to be in.
The question now is, are you suddenly popping in front of me?
Okay. I mean, she's a very graceful moving character, right? And very gentle, so I don't think it's gonna be oh, jump scare, but gonna kind of slide in to be hello,
Yeah, as she moves in front of your face, she does block your vision for a moment, and the next time when she's not in front of you, this figure is gone.
She's just gonna be it's nothing. It's nothing. Let's proceed.
By that point, Ski has noticed that some footsteps have stopped and Zerafina is talking, so he stops and turns around and looks at them. Doesn't ask anything, doesn't say anything. He just kind of looks at them, see what they're doing. Takes a quick glance at the forest, the direction that Lucian was looking at. Probably doesn't see. I mean, do I see anything, or do I think to see anything, or do I just take because I just take a quick glance. Okay.
No, you don't see anything.
Okay. Then I just kind of shrug it off. Okay.
Can I ask what this structure is here?
Where?
Trying to ping it.
My map is too zoomed out. Oh, yeah, that just seems to be a small tool shed, essentially.
What Ash is going to do is he's going to hop the fence, and he's going to climb on top of the tool shed.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to center himself. Close his eyes.
10 feet up, so you're kind of 10 feet off the ground if you're climbing on top of this.
Yeah, that's what he wants, a little bit of height. He's going to center himself, he's going to close his eyes, and he's going to just reach out with his senses and listen. See if anything seems off, or if he can hear. I mean, he's listening out for wolves, any sounds that you might be familiar with from the encounters that he's had so far.
Okay. You listen out, roll perception.
While Asher is trying to listen, he's trying to move forward, but he notices that Lucian still isn't moving forward, so he goes back towards them. And I'll let Asher resolve his perception check.
Okay.
That would be a 13.
Yeah, with a 13, you're listening out and you're looking. You do see, this farm, this squat building in front of you. I think I misspoke earlier and I said it was 2 stories. It's only 1 story.
Okay.
And you can see this building, and behind it you also see that there appears to be you can see just over the roof that there is a lake, or a small lake, or a pond behind this farmhouse. You're actually currently at the back end of the farmhouse. You've come from the back, and that's what you can see. You can see there's another road further south where the road had split a little bit earlier. and that seems to go around to the front of the property. There's also a small entrance, like a door to a cellar here, like a root cellar.
Yeah, he's going to make a mental note of that, and he's just going to remain perched there for.
All right.
For
so
a few minutes.
Ash is perched on top of this small wooden structure. Lucian was like momentarily stood, just staring into the woods, with Zerafina appearing a bit concerned of him. So we'll ask Skibion if you would like to do anything now.
Yeah, so he's been walking towards Lucian because he noticed that he stopped, and Zerafina looks at him, concerned, but not quite. Concerned's not the right word, but she looks very curious about why he's staring up into the woods. So he walks up.
What's wrong with Lucian?
It's nothing, big man. Yeah, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. Don't worry.
Are your legs tired?
No. I'm good, big man. I am good. Let's proceed.
Very good.
Okay, so
the
three of you head down the road. You can see Asher perched up on top of this tool shed, just in the middle of this small kind of grassy area, like a small garden. You appear to be approaching the back of the property. You can see this storm cellar just here, behind the property, and you can see this building is one story and has kind of like a shingle roof. Everything is covered in ash. Just to reiterate that.
Yeesh.
Well, Zerafina's gonna make her way towards seeing Asher. She's gonna ask him, "Do you see anything up there? Do you see anyone?"
Not seen anyone. There's a body of water behind the building. Something of a storm cellar. That's all I could see.
We should probably see if we can go around to the front so we can knock on the front door. See if anyone's home.
Very well. And Ash is going to hop down and make his way.
Okay. So you head around towards the front of the building. Heading down here, you see that there is a wooden fence bordering the path to the south.
Okay. Can I see any evidence of any activity along this path?
In terms of what, like footprints, cart prints?
Yeah, cart tracks, footprints, or animal tracks, anything of the like.
No, you can't. In fact, it doesn't look like anyone has walked down this path, at least for long enough that the ash has settled into a flat, greyish white. And again, this ash kind of gathers in the nooks and crannies and forms drifts to the borders of the farmhouse building beside you. And it just seems to get everywhere, basically.
Okay, it's going to continue making its way around the corner of the building.
Okay. Asher, as you head around the corner of the building, you see 3 human corpses lying by lying by the base of the building.
Where are they in relation to that? I'm assuming this is a porch. Does it look like
that is a porch with a doorway leading into the farmhouse, and the bodies are lying right here. One slumped against the wall, one in the middle of the grass here, and another one is lying nearby this hedgerow a little bit further south.
Okay. I think what I'll do, I'll move closer to the one that's against the wall, and I'll kneel down next to it, plant the spear in the ground. And I'm going to see. I'm going to try and see. Is this body a corpse? Or is it somebody who's really worse for wear, trapped out in the ash?
Okay. With Asher approaching this body and the rest of you just rounding the corner, Lucian, would you like to do anything?
I think Lucian is gonna be like a little bit like paranoid. He's gonna he's gonna keep his eye on the tree line over here, just checking that, he's not being followed after seeing that figure.
Okay. Serafina?
I'm assuming she's seen the bodies lying at this point.
Well, coming around the corner, you would see these 3 bodies lying there, and you see Asher moving to inspect one of them. If you're kind of keeping an eye on Lucian as well, you do see him stop and kind of looking around warily.
I think she'll probably... Well, nothing happened last time when she checked on Lucian. He just kind of brushed it off, so she's probably going to prioritize going to look at... also checking one of the bodies. Probably the one closest to the one Asher is checking.
Okay.
Which I think was over here-ish.
Yeah, I could have put like a marker in for them, but there's one here, there's one here, and there's one here. So...
okay, so right here.
Alright, so Asher and Serafina are approaching 2 different bodies. Lucian is kind of standing, looking around, paranoid. Skibjorn, is there anything you'd like to do?
Skibjorn turns the corner of the building, looks over. At that point, Asher was already kneeled down, looking at one of the bodies, and he then takes the wide shot and looks at the front yard and notices the 3 people lying down, and just kind of softly gasps into his hands. He just kind of stays there for a little minute because he's saddened by the fact that the 3 residents of this farm appear to be dead.
Okay. All right. So, Asher, you approach this body. You can see they seem to be maybe a couple of travelers. Well, you see the one that you're looking at seems to be maybe it was a traveler, wearing a kind of traveling cloak and outfit, leather boots. It is a dead body. His skin is cracked and flaked with soot. And you don't even see any sign of like flies or anything that would have hung around dead body. And it doesn't smell of anything bad, really. Just a slight sort of metallic taste on your tongue. And the same goes for Serafina. You approach, you see that this one also, again, seems to be a traveler, a young woman wearing a traveling cloak and outfit, and carrying a pack of like simple provisions. But again, the skin is cracked and flaked with this ash and soot streaked across it. And yeah, they are stiff with death. You can't even really tell how long they've been here because of just this ash and the way that the bodies seem strangely preserved and the skin is like dry and cracked. Asher, leaning forward, you feel and see the corpse that you're looking at exhale. You hear a faint hiss, a dry and hollow hiss coming from the body's mouth, like air passing through cracked stone, and ash puffs out from its mouth, drifting upwards like smoke, and then the eyes slowly open. You see them rimed with red and this almost cataract-like form in the eye. It turns and looks at you, and then with a brittle snap, the fingers flex on its hand. Serafina, the one you're looking at down to too, similarly stirs, joints cracking, and this face twisting into a snarl as these 2 corpses and the corpse by the hedgerow begin to rise gracelessly, like kind of cracking and jerking upright. So, Asher, how do you react?
Asher is going to reach for his spear and raise it. And then he's going to sort of back towards Serafina and say, I'm rather hoping you can tell me what's happening right now.
Would she know what's happening?
Religion or Arcana check, please.
Okay. That is a 24.
Yeah, these are zombies.
Okay, yeah.
Not even sugarcoating it. Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna be like, yeah, hand over your notes, Kajol, come on.
These are definitely zombies, but they don't look like any zombie that you've heard of, because they seem, they're weirdly dry and like jerky. Zombies are, they do sort of like, move quite stutteringly and jerkily, but these ones, it's almost like every single joint is cracking as they move, and they have this ash coating them in these like red rimed eyes that look like the villagers that were sick in the village, and they again, like, they're exhaling this ash coming from their mouths. They look similar to the wolves that you fought before. They just look like they're full of ash, but they are definitely dead bodies that have arisen, and they are lunging towards you, essentially.
Shit.
So it's time to roll. You guessed it. That's right. It's initiative time. Let me just
Initiative! Take some initiative.
take a wee bit of initiative, guys.
Just a small sip of initiative.
Okay. Somehow one of the zombies rolled a -1 on initiative.
Beautiful.
Nice. 17.
Let's see. 4. Damn.
Just get the camera set up so that you can see all of you. Okay. Yeah, so these twisted husks essentially cracking, jerking, and they lunge up towards you. Ash like rising around them in soft clouds, clinging to their skin. It like seems to gather around them almost like mist as they are lunging towards you. However, Asher, you react quickly, and you have the opportunity to act. So, what would you like to do in your first turn?
Okay, Asher's going to step forward and interpose himself between this zombie and Zerafina, and he's going to hiss angrily. He's going to wind up for another breath weapon, and he's going to use it in... I think it would be more appropriate to do a line to try and get these two.
Okay. What are you doing? Your breath weapon?
Yes, as an action I'm going to use a breath weapon.
Okay. So, as always, describe how that looks and how that works and what it does and everything.
Yeah. So, once more, the organs around his throat are going to swell and pulse with draconic energy.
Okay.
Like the sort of latent elemental power that he draws from. And his chest is going to rise and expand as he takes in a lungful of air, and as he expels it, there's going to be a chilling, what first seems like a slow cloud, but it picks up pace rather, as he focuses it, it's almost like if you've used like a fire extinguisher, just like a chilling burst of gas.
All right, sweet. Roll your attack then.
Okay, so it's breath weapons. I believe it's a saving throw. Let me just use this.
All right, so it's a dexterity saving throw, and you're doing it in a line going that way. And this frozen breath just like bursts in a beam towards them. The zombies are going to roll their dexterity saving throw. Which, I'm going to be honest, they're not great with dexterity because they're zombies.
Yeah, if I got a -1.
That's a 12 on the first one, so it succeeds.
Wow.
Damn. Dexterous zombie.
And the second one rolls a 7, which is a fail. So the first one takes half as much damage, and the second one takes full damage. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay.
Oh.
So 4 damage for the one right in front of you, as you kind of you're trying to aim and angle your breath to hit the one in the back as well, so you only catch a glancing blow on the first one, and it takes 4 damage. The one in the back, you hit it full on dead center in the chest, and this frost, like this ice, just like rimes up from across its chest and across the shoulder as it like reels back, and it takes a full 7 damage.
And then for his bonus action, he's going to wind up for a kick against the one that's closest to Seraphina. He's going to try and knock it back.
Okay. Does that require you to use a monk point or whatever it's called?
No,
focus
it's
point?
so there are 2 ways that you can use it as a bonus action. One is you level 1 way, or if you just do 1. Your focus point is to do Flurry of Blows, which is an additional 2.
Okay. Yeah, that with a 7, that's a miss. And was that another one that you just did?
I didn't know it rolled.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, a 7 misses anyway, unfortunately. So you try to kick it, but you're trying to avoid hitting Seraphina with your kick as well, and you fall a little bit short.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna end my turn and just stay where I am.
Okay. Next, Lucian, you see up ahead of you, sort of snapping your eyes back to what's going on as you hear this. You hear the goings on just in front of the farmhouse. You see these corpses rise and suddenly lunge towards Asher and Zerafina ahead of you. Before Skibion is able to react, you're gonna have opportunity to do something now. So what would you like to do on your turn?
I think Lucian is out of his paranoia. He's just gonna instantly, like almost muscle memory, he's just gonna like sprint right next to Ski. He's gonna try and grab his loot, accidentally grabbing his vial, and he is going to be using Starry Wisp.
Starry Wisp?
And he is Starry Wisp, and he's gonna aim for this zombie over here next to Asher, and he's gonna launch. So Starry Wisp is basically a mote of light, of radiant energy, and he's gonna, I want to say, almost use the vial as a crossbow or as a bow, as you will, and he's gonna string the vial in the direction of the zombie and then launch this wisp of light towards the zombie.
Okay, and what does it do? What does Starry Wisp do?
So, Starry Wisp is like I said, a mode of light that can be made as a ranged attack against a creature of your choice within 60 feet. And upon a successful attack, it produces a 1d8 radiant damage.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Roll an attack then.
Let's do this. Oh, that's a 16.
That is a hit. Roll damage.
Oh,
that's a 7 damage.
Nice.
Okay, 7 damage, and let me just check here. I think it might be vulnerable to radiant damage, Yeah.
Because it's undead.
Yep.
So that's radiant damage. Okay. Vulnerable, that means you double your damage against it. So
14.
You do 14 damage. Describe how you fucking obliterate this thing.
I was gonna say.
So, seeing with all the stuff that's been going on since we got here, out of his panic, I want to say he almost like misplays a few notes, and he produces a slightly stronger Starry Wisp that just it punches a hole right through the zombie's chest, like just right through it.
He fucks up playing his viol and accidentally just explodes.
Blasts a hole right through it. Yeah.
Wow.
Just blasts a hole right through it.
Yeah, so this mote of light just shoots forward from your viol as you just and then this like this melodic note, and then the starry wisp just shoots forward, collides with this zombie right beside Asher, and just you see the light like sink into its chest and then crack throughout its body, and then it just explodes. It does explode with a puff of ash that any creature within 5 feet must now roll a Constitution saving throw. So Asher, please roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
17.
Yep, you swiftly like cover your face with your arm, just very, very quickly, and you manage to avoid being affected by the ash. But yes, this one beside you, Asher, has been essentially just fully obliterated. And you would know from the sound of the viol being played that Lucian just came to your aid.
But also, bonus action.
Okay. But wait, there's more.
There's more. He's gonna basically recover from that very squiffy note that he played, and he is going to use Bardic Inspiration to inspire Asher with a battle song, if you will.
Okay. So you cast Bardic Inspiration upon Asher. What does that do again? Can you remind the audience?
You can supernaturally inspire others through your words or music or dance. So I don't think, because Lucian is a little bit, still panicked. He's paranoid. He's panicked. He doesn't know exactly, what is stalking him or what's going on. So he's basically just gonna, like I said, he's gonna recover his footing a little bit, and he's gonna be like, oh yeah, shit, this is a vial, not a loot, because he meant to grab his loot and accidentally grabbed his vial. So he's gonna like carry on the tune and inspire Asher. So Asher will then have Bardic Inspiration to basically use a 1d8 to amplify to his either his attack rolls or his any other rolls that he needs to make.
So you can apply a 1d8 to any roll in addition to... is it a D6?
In addition to his...
Just
D6, yes.
Yeah.
D6. Apologies,
you're level 2,
D6,
so you get a D6, but once I think you turn level 4, you get a D8. It turns to a D8.
D8, yeah.
Level 5. At the bottom it says that
level 5.
Level 5,
yeah.
Okay.
And at higher levels, yes.
So basically, Asher can use this Bardic Inspiration die and add the number rolled to any D20 roll, which might turn that failure into a success. And
into a success, yeah.
Asher, Lucian, you have to remove 1 Bardic Inspiration from
one Bardic Inspiration,
because you only get a certain amount of them per long rest or short rest, I believe.
Long rest, yeah.
Long rest, right. And I believe you can use it at any point before I describe the outcome of a roll. So if you roll and you see that you got a 12 and you think you need something more, you have to very quickly say, I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration before I tell you what the effect is. Otherwise,
I would request a little bit of a grace period because I've got a little bit of lag on the feed.
Well, I'm not going to launch straight into do everything. Yeah. If you roll, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to reply. Yeah.
On the Bardic Inspiration description, it says when the creature fails a D20 test, that the creature can roll the Bardic Inspiration die. So it would be after knowing that it failed.
Yeah. So I would say that's going to be a fail, and then you say I want to use my Bardic Inspiration, or I say that's a success, and then you don't need to use it. That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it helps with the with a little bit of a delay that we have on Discord. It does help then.
Yeah. That's like anyway. Let's get back to the game.
Yeah.
Zerafina, it is going to be your turn. So you see Asher attacking the zombie in front of you, and you hear this note coming from behind, and Lucian dispatching one of the other zombies. What's your immediate reaction to these zombies lunging at you? What do you do?
As they lunge at her, she's going to be using Word of Radiance.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
What does that do?
So, I think it's supposed to be centered on myself, I believe. Yeah. So, burning radiance erupts from you in a 5-foot emanation. Each creature of your choice that you can see in it must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 radiant damage.
Okay.
And so basically what that's going to look like is, I mean, it is words, so she's probably going to say something like, oh, Larian, help me stop these creatures that are disrupting the balance of things. And then you're just going to see like this kind of like fiery, like, I guess kind of like an explosion. Not as impactful though, just spread out from her.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's kind of like a Nova spell, like it just spreads out around you. And I would imagine you're obviously choosing to the zombie, but not Asher.
Yes, exactly.
I imagine like Asher would probably feel the warmth of this, but it like as it washes over him, but it wouldn't harm him because that's not your intention.
Yes.
Yeah, so that blasts out from you, in sort of like a wide whoosh around you, and this zombie is going to burn, I assume. So it needs to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah.
And it will not be affected at all if it succeeds.
Yeah.
Your holy words will have no effect.
That is a success, I'm afraid. You feel you feel the power of your god being like, it's almost like it's constantly being dampened and fought back against by this ash. You obviously have this kind of glimmer of warmth within you that's like protecting you from the ash, and you feel that this is perhaps the constant suppression of this ash's effect on you is making your ability to cast your spell in this moment less effective.
But yeah, that's all she's got.
Okay. Following that, the zombie that the other zombie nearby the hedge is going to rise jerkily to its feet, and it stumbles towards you, cracking its bones, cracking as it sort of stumbles towards you, and it is going to surround you from this side, and it's going to try to slam its arm into you.
Oh.
Waves an arm at you. It rolls an 18 to hit.
That hits, yeah.
And
Chicken jockey.
It deals 3 bludgeoning damage to you.
Oh,
okay.
No.
Alright.
Not like this.
With that, Skibiorn, you see all this going on. You see Lucian dispatch one of them, and the Dragonborn and the High Elf are struggling against 2 more in front of you now. You were a bit slow on the uptake, but it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
Well, I'll start running towards this zombie down here. I should have enough movement for it. 35, yep. And I will attack him with my great axe.
Hey.
Okay. Roll attack.
10.
A 10 is a hit. Roll damage.
That's a hit? Damn. That's so funny. You said it's a hit, and I was like, damn, I missed.
Yeah, automatically like, oh, well, I missed.
Yeah,
Not everything has great AC.
Yeah.
And these are slow-moving zombies, so they're pretty easy to hit.
Whoa. 14
Holy
damage.
Well, that's good.
How do you want to kill it?
Oh, I
You describe
can't
yourself
use a
killing it.
bonus action before it poofs, do I?
Nope.
Fuck. Damn it.
So you're swinging
well,
your great axe into it?
Yes. Well, I'm running towards him with my great axe in my hands. I think I'm going to come down at it diagonally across like the neck and shoulders.
All right. You slash
Diagonally.
into it. Your axe like grinds through its front, and you draw a very deep laceration all the way across the front of it. This zombie just goes limp and inanimate and crumbles to the ground with this cracking sound again as this puff of ash explodes from it. Constitution saving throw from Zerafina and Skibion, please.
Oh god. Like
How do you roll the save?
Oh, damn it, they rolled away from a 20.
Oh, there. Okay.
It landed on the 20, but it tipped over to a 2.
No.
I got a 6.
Oh shit!
Oh fuck.
Oh, thank you. Okay. A 20.
Zerafina, you
Close your
manage to
fucking
quickly
mouth.
turn away and block yourself from this puff of ash as it comes out. Skibion,
What was that, a D6 last time?
I rolled the
D4?
D4 for you
Okay.
on this occasion.
Okay.
You breathe in some of this ash, which causes you
Ugh.
to cough violently. You will be unable to speak clearly, or this is kind of irrelevant for you, or cast spells with verbal components for a minute.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know. For future reference. Especially for the bard
Yeah.
God dang it.
and for cleric.
Is there anything else you would like to do on your turn?
No.
No. Okay.
Other than cough my lungs out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give us a.
Does that count as a bonus action? No, Crisp is totally gonna cut that out.
Oh yes. Oh, yes. I'm not gonna lie, when you said he inhaled some of that dust, my throat
we got it.
instantly got through.
Oh, we got it? Okay,
like
good.
itchy.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. Yeah, you basically
Yeah,
inhaled
like,
some
oh.
ash, and you know it doesn't feel nice. It's like clinging inside your throat. It's really hard to cough out as well.
It's not
Just some
tasty.
asbestos. It's fine.
It's just some of
Fine.
that radioactive Chernobyl dust, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
just some
Graphite
radioactive
powder.
asbestos. Oh, goddamn.
All right, that is round
Roll for-
1 complete.
Roll for
Asher.
coughing dexterity. Sorry, that got me.
Top of the round, Asher. It's your turn.
Okay, so I'm going to use my bonus action to do the single unarmed strike, and I'm going to use Tavern Brawler to, if it hits, knock this surviving zombie 5 feet back away from us.
Okay.
Nice.
Just knock him towards me. It's too late for me anyway.
No.
16 to
That's a
hit.
16 to hit. And the damage is 5.
Damage. Okay. Yep. That does harm it.
So with that, he's going to be knocked back 5.
Okay, you knock it back towards the hedge 5 feet away from you.
And I'm going to follow through with the momentum of the attack, turn round, pick up my spear, and launch it straight at it.
Are you able to use the spear as a bonus action attack?
I've already used my bonus action to do my unarmed attack.
Okay,
Oh,
can I just
Jesus.
check? Isn't it supposed that you have to do the bonus action unarmed attack after the main attack?
No, it's not.
So you can do it at any point.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty damn good. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Make your spear attack. Some of these changes in the rules in 5.5e, like I'm still not used to them.
Yeah.
Woo! Deadly
Okay, that's
accuracy.
21 to hit with the spear.
21 is a hit.
Jesus.
Go ahead and roll your damage.
Let me just check something with it.
Did you throw it?
I threw it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a different die because otherwise it'll assume it's a D8. It should be a D6.
Right,
Okay.
because you're not two-handing it. Yeah, it makes sense.
So it'd be 1d6 plus 3. Hopefully this works.
Oh.
How do you want to kill it? How do you want to describe yourself killing it?
Hang on, no. That's a 1d6 plus 6. That's not right.
It doesn't really matter because
Is it not?
no.
Okay.
He's fucking dead.
Right, so what Asher will have done is he will have kicked the creature back 5 feet, and then he'll have grabbed the spear in a turn, and then used the momentum of the turn to throw the spear, and he'll have aimed straight for the neck.
Okay, yeah, the spear just like pierces directly through this zombie's neck, and it jerks and falls back, goes limp, inanimate on the floor. And again, this puff of ash explodes from it, but thanks to you pushing it back 5 feet, no one is affected. You are now out of initiative.
Ski takes out his water skin and just starts drinking water.
Serafina's gonna go to him and be like, "Are you okay?"
Serafina, medicine check, please.
Okay. 14.
Looking up at the Goliath, you can see that his eyes are turning slightly red.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. She's just gonna, well, because he's coughing, she's gonna like pat him on the back.
Can you even reach his back?
Can she? Yeah, that's good. She'd probably like
pat him on the back.
He's still coughing his lungs out for now.
Okay. Lucian, what are you doing?
I think Lucian is just gonna like scold himself for pulling out his vial instead of his loot. He's gonna be like, "Oh, you stupid! You should know where these things are." He's just gonna put it back. And he's gonna like slowly just make his way over to the rest of the team.
Okay, you see around you, you see this farmhouse here as well. All is quiet once again, with these corpses no longer moving. You see their like cracked skin, dry and pale, the red-rimmed eyes, but they are not moving now. Once again, anything you'd like to do, Asher?
I think I'll move forward, and as I'm reaching to get my spear back, I'm going to have a look at this. Well, what's left of the zombie? You said the other one looked like a traveler. Does this one look similar?
The one by the hedge actually looks like a farmhand. So there's 2 travelers here and then a farmhand.
What do you think? Were they seeking shelter, perhaps?
maybe. I wonder why they were just here in the front yard, though.
Perhaps whoever saw them on the inside didn't want to open for them. Perhaps they were too far gone.
That is true. We should see if there's anyone home.
Please, and I'll gesture towards the door.
With one last concerned look at Ski, she's gonna make her way over to the door and give it a knock.
You knock on the door, the sound sounds muffled in the silence, and there's no response from within.
There either doesn't seem to be anyone home, or they're not responding.
Are the windows boarded? Are there windows?
There are windows, yeah. You can see 3 from where you currently are. 1 to the left side of the porch, and 2 here and here. They're not boarded up, but you can't see inside them from where you are because they are entirely covered with ash. There's just grey ash on the windows.
I think Seraphina's gonna try the doorknob to see if maybe it's unlocked.
Okay, Seraphina. You place your hand on the door handle and turn. There's a soft click as the door opens, and you turn it in with a low shuffling sound. The bottom of the door disturbs ash as you open it. You see that the room within appears to be a kind of small dining area, and everything is completely coated in ash. You even see on the tables that there are... did I not put a door in here? Am I...
There we go.
You see everything is completely coated with ash. There's even plates of food on the tables that are completely coated with ash. And within, there is a corridor heading down to the east here, and the rest of the room kind of opens up within. However, everyone, as you begin to enter the farmhouse, that is where we're going to end today's session.
Oh,
I
cliffhanger.
know. It's such a cliffhanger entering a farmhouse, but yeah, we've come upon 4 p.m., which means that we are reaching the end. Unfortunately, some of our players usually have to go around this time, and this is a big thing that you're going to be investigating. I can't believe how quickly the time passed, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Oh yes. Time flies when you're having fun.
Sure does.
Yes.